Illinois voters approved a constitutional amendment called Marsy's Law 10 years ago this month. It guarantees specific rights to people impacted by violent crime.
Before voters passed this amendment, victims had few rights beyond the ability to give a police statement. Now, the list of those rights is much longer. Illinois Capitol Bureau correspondent Theodora Coulivares has tonight's top story.
We were living an idyllic life.
Then her family was struck by tragedy. Her pregnant sister, Nancy Bishop Langert, and her husband, Richard Langert, were murdered in 1990. Their killer has been behind bars serving life without parole.
The hardest part for me was the first time I saw the killer in court. I can't even tell you physically what my body did.
She continued to return to that courtroom day after day, ready to give her victim impact statement, a right she thought she was guaranteed in Illinois. But then she was told the court just didn't have the time.
The staggering nature of having family members murdered, and then to see that we weren't even guaranteed a right to be present for the proceedings or to be heard from at sentencing, or that this was unenforceable, that these were weak rights in Illinois. This was really upsetting to me.
At the time, Bishop Jenkins was a high school social studies teacher. She felt she had a good understanding of state law thanks to her career and because her grandfather was the Champaign County State's attorney in the 1950s and 60s.
It worried me, it bothered me. Why? I know we have this right. I see it written in the Constitution.
More than 2 decades after the murders, Bishop Jenkins was still fighting to make sure other victims weren't treated the same way she was. She helped lead the effort to pass Marsy's Law. Now, victims are guaranteed the right to be notified in a timely manner about all courtroom updates, and any time that the defendant is in court, the victim and their family is able to be there too. And now, victims are always able to give an impact statement.
Infrastructure exists for victims now that didn't exist before. It's routine, it's built into the procedures.
Theodora Coulivares supporting Bishop Jenkins says there is still more work to do to get other states to adopt Marsy's Law. Illinois was the second state to implement it after California. About a dozen states now have a version of it in their state constitution.